video I'm going to be showing you how to make this black and white halberd here. Sorry for the length of the video. I know it's really long, but I mean, hey, this thing, especially the covering, it took really long to make, so really long video.
So as you can see, up to this point we've just been cutting out the basic shape, and from here I'm going to continue doing that and cleaning up the edge with the file and some sandpaper. So here comes the fun part. now that the whole design was actually cut out and ready to go, I had to start the carving. This part was really time consuming, as you will hopefully be able to tell. So unlike the last piece, this piece actually had paper on the front. I started trying to carve over the paper and it just ended up ripping, which led to all sorts of trouble with carving the right shape. So I eventually decided to just start actually cutting out the lines with a sharp tool before carving, and that seemed to work pretty well, so I just stuck with that. So from here, what's next to do is to cut out the slot that the handle will fit into, and then shape down the handle so that it fits into that slot.
Nice.
So as you can probably tell by the lighting in this frame, it was already pretty late, so at this point I just glued it and wiped off the glue and then left it for the next day. After gluing and taking all the clamps off and stuff, I realized that the end actually doesn't fit. It must have just been fitting because I clamped it in. So I just went and shaved down the head and then fit perfectly. You see, this right here is why you don't take shortcuts. So what happened was I didn't end up taking off the finish that was from the previous thing it was used for, and because both sides were smooth, they didn't really stick. So I went inside and scraped it up a bit so it would stick, and then re-glued it here. Time to paint. Here's a test piece I did a little bit earlier with the carving in gold and the rest of it in black, trying to get the grain to show through. So now I'm going to try and duplicate that on the rest of the piece.
So it's nice when you do something and you realize you forgot to film it, but that's okay. So basically with these parts here, what I did was I took these 3 separate pieces, 4 actually. There was supposed to be 1 here, but as I glued them all together and squeezed it, I realized that this one was too small and it snapped off. So there goes that. So basically we got these two pieces here. This is the end where the halberd head will go on. We've got these two pieces here. I drilled through all three of them and then cut them out, stuck them on, glued them on, shaped them down, and then I shaped them all together. And then at the other end I've done the same thing. So I drilled out the sensors and then cut out the tops and glued them on, and you can see I've done these three grooves and this in here and rounded off the end, and next I'm going to do these ones here to shape.
So my girlfriend reminded me, who by the way this halberd is actually for, that on the original work there's actually 3 of these pieces instead of the 2 that I originally had made.
I've gone ahead and cut the inside out with the drill and cut the circle out and rounded it off a little bit. And obviously I couldn't slide it on because these were already glued, so what I ended up doing was cutting it in half. You can see it's 2 different parts, and then I'm going to close that up over the outside and put some glue and clamp the whole thing together. So this one, yeah, as you can see I'm doing it right after clamping this one here, but the gold doesn't really interfere with that piece, and I am very impatient at the moment and I just want to get stuff done. So I'm going to paint the gold while that's drying, and then once that's actually dry, I'll get on to painting the whole thing black. That's it. Hope you enjoyed the build. Now I'm going to go pretend to wax stuff with my fake halberd. in the next one.